dying embers of human existence. As the asteroid, a behemoth the size of Texas, hurtles relentlessly toward Earth, the world braces for an apocalyptic end. Deep beneath the bunker, a refuge plunges into the bowels of the Earth. Here the chosen gather, their purpose clear, to preserve the very soul of our civilization. The 35 and 70 millimeter prints that encapsulate the magic, the emotion, and the dreams of generations past. These masterpieces, each frame a testament to the human spirit, are carefully catalogued and cradled in the cavernous confines of the bunker. Perhaps there was room for more, for friends and family yearning for salvation, but sacrifices must be made. The movie nerds stand united, the keepers of a flame, promising a future where the art of storytelling endures, transcending the boundaries of time and space. God help us all.
Welcome to Back to the Frame Rate, a proud production of the Weston Media Podcast Network. In the cinematic crusade, we journey through films on VOD and streaming platforms, deciding their fate, salvation in our vault of legends, or eternal banishment to the flames of the coming asteroid apocalypse. You can find all episodes of our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast apps. Or find us on social media at Back to the Frame Rate. I am Nathan Schuer, and accompanying me, as always, is Sam Cole. How are you tonight, Sam, and Happy New Year?
Greetings. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026, the 250th anniversary of the United States of America.
Yes. So much to celebrate this year, huh? Yes, it's just a circus. Well, we have made it to the new year, and also the third film in our mini James Cameron retrospective, but ending it with a big one here, the third installment of Avatar, of this franchise, Fire and Ash. So we'll get into this movie in a moment, but Sam, let me ask you, I think of everybody that has been on this podcast over the last, can you believe it? Has it been 3 years since we launched this? It's crazy to think that our first episode.
It's 6 if you include the time we went through that wormhole, but
yes,
I think I'm supposed to talk about that. But yeah,
you are probably the biggest fan of this franchise of anybody that has had their voice heard on the show. Tell me, what is it about this franchise that really speaks to your heart?
The Avatar franchise?
Yes.
So for me, it's that whole kind of like transporting aspect of it. I just feel like it's a well-grounded, like sci-fi / fantasy sort of Star Warsian saga film. And to me, I mean, the first one set the visual benchmark in VFX. I thought the second one was even better. But for me, it's the transporting, otherworldly, dreamlike kind of wonder aspect of it to it. It just has this underlying quality that endures, and that's why you see these movies sort of leg out at the box office in the amazing, unprecedented, or unusual way they do, I should say.
Yeah, that first one, I actually was on Box Office Mojo a couple of days ago. That movie, talk about legs, it didn't actually leave the theaters until the middle of August, and that was a December release.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. And I don't know how many weeks it held at number one, but it was in the top 10 through, I think, end of March or April or so, something like that. It was insane.
Exactly. Like these days, movies are lucky if they last 10 days in the theater.
Yeah. And The Way of Water legged it out until May. Now, it'll be interesting because the theatrical landscape has changed so much in just 3 years as well, with theatrical windows shrinking so quickly. How long Fire and Ash will leg things out? And we've already, I don't know if you've been tracking box office. I mean, again, James Cameron this will be considered a gigantic hit no matter where this lands, because it's already crossed $1 billion as of this date, and it's trending toward, close to 2. I don't know if it's going to hit 2. The first two, I think the first Avatar was like 2.4 billion, maybe, or somewhere around that, and Way of Water was 2.9, or do I have it reverse? I'm not sure, but crazy numbers.
2.9, and then second was, I think, 2.4 or 2.3 or something like that.
Yeah, insane. Absolutely insane numbers. Do you have a prediction on where you think?
Oh, I was going to say, if I had to be optimistically positive for Fire and Ash, I would say 1.8
Yep.
million, and that's, I mean, billion, and that's like on the higher end.
And it's funny
If I
when
had
you
to
think,
use my foresight now, and it may be like entirely worthless, but if I was in like a marketing meeting and I had to give my honest answer, that's what I would say, and that's like my high end estimate.
and would that be considered a disappointment?
No, I mean, it's huge. Put it this way, it's enough to justify at least part 4.
15 more of these, what amount?
All I want is 4 and 5, because I know like the scripts on those are written. The 5th one apparently takes place on Earth. The 4th one, put it this way, Disney had a lot of notes for Fire and Ash, several pages, and their notes when they read the script for Avatar 4 was, and I quote, "Holy fuck," and that was it.
Okay.
And that's a true story. So I don't know. I hope, I just selfishly want the to see the saga complete, because there's this movie didn't feel like an ending, but we'll talk about that.
Let's see. Again, directed by James Cameron, written by Cameron, Rick Jaffa, Amanda Silver, music by Salman Frangian, who composed Avatar 2, took over for James Horner, who did the first one. What else? Okay, cinematography, Russell Carpenter. He did The Lawnmower Man. I noticed that.
Did True Lies.
True Lies, the last one. Yep. Titanic. So he is an Academy Award winner. Cast. We got Sam Worthington, Jake Sully, Zoe Saldana as Neytiri. Recently won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. So, we got Academy Award winners in here. Sigourney Weaver as Kiri, Stephen Lang as Colonel Quaritch, Una Chaplin as Varang, Kate Winslet as Ronal, Cliff Curtis, Tonawari. I'm going to get some of these names all messed up here. But Edie Falco as General Ardmore, Jermaine Clement. I always think of him as Flight of the Conchords, the show?
Oh yeah.
And I didn't even recognize him, I think, in the last movie. I'm like, yes, I know where this guy's from. Giovanni Ribisi, I forgot that he's even still an actor, but he shows up in these movies. Parker Selfridge, Britton Dalton as Loak. It was one of the youngest son of Jake and Neytiri, and Jake Champion as Spider. And I have thoughts on Spider. We'll get to that. And released on December 19th, 2025. All of these are December releases. So I do have a trailer and a plot synopsis. So Jake and Neytiri's family grapples with grief, encountering a new aggressive Na'vi tribe, the Ash people, who are led by the fiery Varang. As the conflict on Pandora escalates and new moral focuses emerge. Here is a part of the trailer from Avatar: Fire and Ash.
The strength of the ancestors is here.
You cannot live like this, baby. In hate.
If there is something you can do, then you must do it. The children. No, Spider. And we will find another way.
All right, that tells you everything. Sam, tell me, just give me some initial thoughts. We don't have to get into like spoilers because, if you're going to watch the movie, you've probably seen it already, but give me some initial reactions to this third installment of Avatar.
So I will say initial reactions. If I had to rank the films, for me, I would still put Avatar: The Way of Water as number 1, as my favorite. With this film, I thought, I like the story, the visuals, the characters, always. With this movie, I felt the talking about it in general, the first and the third act were pretty good, like spectacular. I mean, I thought the movie got most visually inventive towards the end. For me, I just had more kind of pacing issues with the middle of this film. I thought there was a lot of sort of short scenes and jumping around, whereas I felt The Way of Water, even though it was a different movie, had more of a sort of flow to it. And while as this one was very like focused on character and like interactions and sort of like moving plot chess pieces forward, and I thought Varang was great. I felt that the second film especially induced that more kind of dreamlike state that people love about these movies so much, where they spent when they went and lived with the reef people and they were like becoming part of that tribe and learning and like swimming underwater. Like that to me was so transporting. And I thought this film was going to spend more time with the Ash people, the Menquan clan, and I was sort of surprised in the way they kind of came into the story. But I would say ultimately, I like it, but I would still put the second film above it. For me, it's has pacing issues more so than the second, and that's just I've seen it twice now, IMAX 3D, and I would put it there. But for example, I will say that, and without giving anything away, like with the final battle, there's so much visually going on there that with editing that goes by so quickly that I didn't even realize that certain characters perished until I saw the film a second time. And so that was surprising me because it's a spectacular battle. But anyway, yeah. So that's my initial. I mean, I can go on and on, but that's my overall. It's hard not to talk more without going into specifics, you know.
Yeah. I have a couple initial thoughts on this without getting into too many spoilers or details. So I went into Fire and Ash, I guess, with some cautious optimism. But honestly, I feel like this is basically just a continuation of The Way of Water. I thought this was going to be a whole new chapter in this world of Pandora. And the first two films I thought were interesting because, film one, you have this world where we're introduced to like forest Navi, and this new world. It's spiritual, it's visually stunning. In the second one, you have the reef Navi, and you have this water culture, and it's a whole new environment. It's a whole new fresh dynamic to the movie. I didn't like the second one as much as the first one. I think just because of the spectacle of what James Cameron brought to the first one. He'd never seen anything like that before. But I think also the 12 or 13-year gap between the movies did build up some anticipation for the second one. Even though I think a lot of the world forgot about Avatar for a while, it came back with a big splash. And I think the world was hungry for it more than people realized. But in these 3 years since Way of Water, I really felt like if he's going to take such a short period between these movies, he's got to come back with something new. And so, with a movie's titled Fire and Ash, I expect that, like you said, I thought this journey was going to go to this volcanic mountain region of Pandora, where we're going to get at this whole new world, whole new environment. And this, like I said, this really plays like The Way of Water Part 2. And it's more than that. It repeats so many of the same dramatic beats as the second movie as well. And the story, I feel like, barely is moving characters forward. And that I found very frustrating. So in the end, it feels like we spent almost 7 hours telling one story between these two movies. And that is something that does irk me about this. And I'll leave it at that for now, because there I can get into more thoughts. But yeah, go ahead, Sam.
I wanted to say, you brought up a really good point. I meant to say that too. My notes are kind of scrambling over here, but this movie really did feel like The Way of Water Part 2, as if it was like a 2-part film. It felt like The Way of Water Part 2. It didn't feel like, its own third thing. And that's what I thought. I thought the story would take us to the mountains, the volcano, and the ash people. And essentially, we go there for 20 minutes when Quaritch goes to enlist I loved that scene. It was great. It came out of nowhere. That's what I mean about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's maybe my favorite part of the movie is Quaritch and Varang, their interaction. By the way, I think played by Una Chaplin, Charlie Chaplin's granddaughter. I mean, I don't know this actress very much. I think I've heard of her before, but I think is the standout performance in this movie.
She was
And
amazing.
there's not
Amazing.
enough of her. I would have been, this is my personal thought on this. First of all, I do think that Stephen Lang, he's great in these. I think this is my favorite Stephen Lang performance in all three movies. Actually, I think he's better in this than he was in the second one. But at the same time, Stephen Lang's character Quaritch doesn't really grow in this movie at all. And I don't need this movie to be his redemption story, which I was thinking it might try to go there. And I'm kind of okay that it doesn't. But at the same time, it's rehashing the same beats with that Quaritch character. He's going to villages and burning huts and doing the same thing over and over. And I felt, oh my God, here we are with this character and there's no growth to him. We're not going anywhere. We're just spinning our tires with the Quaritch character. And I'll be honest, I mean, we're in spoiler territory already with this, but I'm so petrified that going forward, Avatar 4 and 5, he's going to be back against. We do not see him die. He's going to be back again. And honestly, we had an amazing villain in this movie, with Varang. And
Varang's not dead. No, she's not dead. Yeah.
No, nobody died. Maybe some of the humans died in this.
General Ardmore died. I didn't even realize that the first time.
I don't even know that. I did not see. Well, we'll get to the ending in the.
She was on the bridge of the ship that got sucked into the vortex. She is dead, and it's like official.
What the hell was the vortex? I don't even think that's explained. Anyways, we'll get to the ending because
I see that's the stuff I know, but we'll go. Yeah. Keep going.
You things I don't know. But anyways, Varang was such a great character, but at the same time, I feel like she should have been the main villain of this movie. She is sidelined, becomes like Quaritch's tag along in the last third of this movie. And and also they set up this whole, like, what you mentioned before. What's the name of the tribe with Varang's tribe? I forget.
Oh, the Menquan clan.
I love how they establish this, but we don't explore them. We don't know anything about them. Like just a little bit, little tiny tidbits. Why couldn't I would have loved the conflict to have been the Reef tribe and the Menquan tribe and that conflict. It's just the fact that we kept going back to the same story, and I'll get into the whole spider thing in a moment, but this is what just drove me nuts. Is I thought we tried to wrap things up in the second movie. Oh no, the third movie is continuing all of that, and I thought what it did was it kind of lessened the second movie for me in a lot of ways. The second movie wasn't a movie. It was just act one. And I didn't even realize it at the time. And it made me realize, why couldn't we just do this in 3 hours? Because really, I felt like I was watching the same movie again so much.
Well, see, what's really interesting about that is, and this is true, James Cameron, Avatar 2 and 3 was originally one script. Yeah. And he originally intended it as one movie, but there was too much, and so he split it up. I would argue, and you brought up 2 points that ties into something perfectly that I wanted to say. I would argue by splitting the two stories, it was the third film that suffered a little bit more, but by taking some out of part 2 for me and allowing for these longer dreamlike swimming scenes, and 2 has my favorite like battle scene at the end of that film. Like, I feel like part 2 benefited from having some of that story take out of it. And so part 2, surprisingly for me, topped the experience I had with the first one. For me, 3, you mentioned a great thing about Quaritch, how we see him burning villages again. And that brings up 2 points. One, the editing, and one, the pacing. There's literally a scene just comes out of nowhere where he's just burning the villages. He's like, hey, where is Spider? Where is Turuk Makto? He's like, all right, this ain't working. I got another idea. Then it immediately cuts to him walking up a hill with the gigantic volcano behind him into the mountain range to meet Aang. And the pacing of that, not only was it showing what his character was doing before it was repetitive, but the movie for me kind of jump cuts around like that. And it has these kind of like scenes here and scenes there that for me, a lot of the middle act of this movie seems to turn inward a little bit more and almost micro focus. I don't quite know how to explain it, but like
Mhm.
I had pacing issues with the movie. That's my main thing. I will say one comment though. I thought the coolest new visual thing that I saw in this movie that I wish there was more of, because I know they repeated things. They went back to the forest but they didn't really go to a new place. I liked the human city bridgehead the most with all the smokestacks. And when Natiri goes there to rescue him and is
I had a
flying.
very Blade Runner vibe to it, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought like it, I mean, in this movie, that was like the newer visual that I was looking for. And I liked the volcano area, but I thought we spent far too little time there. And I think you're right. I think Varang, her performance was so good. I think she should have been a much more central focus. It's weird because James Cameron, like, he always has long action scenes, like, but I was surprised there were some pacing issues in this movie that I don't see in other James Cameron movies, and it was more prominent to me in this, and so that surprised me a little bit. Even though I mean I still enjoyed it, but
That's interesting. The pacing didn't bother me. I mean, I'm dumping on this a bit, but I was entertained by this. I
yeah,
was caught up in
too.
the
Oh, yeah.
spectacle of this. I'm not complaining about that at all. Visually exhilarating. That was not the issue. I just have a problem with the story that was presented. Now we talked about Varang as being like, we both agree was one of the big highlights of this, and I feel like should have been one of the central parts of this much more than she was. But what was Cameron did decide was going to be like the anchor of this movie, I think, was the story of Spider,
Yeah,
the Tarzan monkey boy in this, which was sort of like a side character in the second movie, who I did not like that much in the second movie. And if anybody like me thought he was just kind of like an annoying little sidekick in the second movie, this movie, he is like full on, like, I wanted to jump through the screen, and I was gonna, if Sully was not gonna like chop his head off, I was gonna do it, because this was the most annoying character in cinema in the last 25 years. This punk ass kid, I do not care about him and his mask that keeps failing. Yes, Natiri was right. Just kill this kid. Send him away. The fact that he's even called Monkey Boy just grates at my soul. Will open up an Etsy store with t-shirts to say "fuck Monkey Boy." I don't care. I hate this kid so much. And the fact that this whole movie is anchored by his emotional story is a crime to me, because I do not care about him. This whole movie could have been told about the tribes, the infighting with them. I don't even care that Quaritch comes back and is recycling his story again. But they have all these other great characters. They have the family saga. But the fact that they've got this little kid tagging along, and he is going to be the one, the Neo or whatever he's going to be, Jesus, I'm just like, I just don't give a fuck. I don't know. I really hated this decision. And the whole movie is anchored on him. Yeah. Fuck Spider.
that is interesting to me. But my question is, I would honestly like to know what you really think. No, what I was going to say. No, I hear you. I don't mind him. I think he's fine. I will say there are moments where I think that like there are some acting moments where I feel like it's not not like the best acting in the world, but he doesn't. I liked him in The Way of Water. I don't mind him. Like I hear what you're saying, but I enjoy his character, so I don't feel any of that intense, Jar Binks level
Oh
hate.
no, he's worse than Jar Binks. And also, you hit on a nerve, the writing of this, and it's most apparent with his with his dialogue. It's all throughout this movie. I'm sorry, I'm kind of like on a roll right now, but
There is one that
it's
embarrasses me when he's like,
go ahead.
so there is a dialogue moment with him that really embarrasses me where he's riding the whale and he like turns to it. I mean, I'm sorry, he's riding the Tulkun. He turns to it. He's like, Payakan, you're the man.
There's so much of that. There's unintentionally comical dialogue throughout this movie. And speaking of those whales, that's a whole nother thing that I was just like, I do not need 20 minutes of whale councils. And that there's the exiled whale, then they come back, then he's exiled again. And I understand the purpose of the whale is because the younger son Loak, he loses his older brother, so he bonds with the whale and kind of replaces his brother, blah blah blah, which,
That's what I
but,
liked, the sort of
but,
How to Train Your
but
Dragon ET thing that was going on in the second film. That's why the second film is higher for me.
I
Him and the
get that. What's the whale's name?
on.
Payakan. So, and then Payakan leaves, and the fact that there are these really elaborate, the font for the subtitles for what the whales say, I was just like laughing out loud for what they
Papyrus
say.
told the joke, yeah, but yeah.
But the whale leaves after it's been exiled again, says something like, "My song will never be heard again," and I just laughed out loud. Or something like that. It was like, "You'll never hear my song again." I'm like, good.
Fair enough. I mean, fair enough. There's unintentionally funny moments. There was a couple of those. There was more of those in this film than like a previous one. And not, but put it this way: you again, everything you say, it ties in perfectly to what I mean with plot and pacing issues. Usually, in a James Cameron thing, things are set up and they're like planted early and paid off. But the major reason for that third act battle was those Tulkun go there and they have that bonding thing. And that's a huge plot point. And the way you hear about it is Spider and Kiri happen to be like swimming there, and like a Tulkun like passes by her leg and she's, look, they're arriving. The calves are arriving for the meeting. And then there's one random dialogue scene later where the general is, we got to go in and get these whales. And then the scientist is, you can't do that. Then he's, no, this is where all the Amrita is. We'll get all the, but like, that just is a plot thing that just kind of comes out of nowhere and is this sort of thin setup for this huge third act battle, which was repetitive, even visually so, from The Way of Water, to the point where the battle took place during the eclipse when the two planets line up and it gets dark and stuff like that.
I love that.
Yeah, that was so cool. It did repeat that, but I'm getting off track. I'll just say briefly, I'm glad I saw it. For me, the reason I like seeing these movies multiple times is they're so visually dense. I just am always like enamored looking around the frame. I'm glad I saw it a second time because I like the third battle, the ending battle in the third film a lot more the second time than I did the first. I think the first time I was a little tired because I found the pacing in the middle of the film kind of repetitive and like just a bit tedious at times.
Yeah. You mentioned that whole clips thing. I love that. It's such a great
It's visually awesome,
idea
yeah.
visually. But the thing is, they did this. Didn't they do the same thing in the second movie?
They did the same. The battle at the end of 3 was so identical to the battle at the end of 2 that I was almost taken aback the first time I saw it. At the very least, what it does, though, that has a lot more, Taruk Makto comes back and the thing is like flying around. And and then the squids that jump out and kill people when
the squids are cool.
There's a lot of cool stuff happening in that battle. It just like launches and it kind of pays homage to the first one, but like I did like it better the second time I saw it. The first time I was kind of overwhelmed. Literally, Kate Winslet Renal dies, and then like just as she has a baby, one of the sons of the reef people dies, and I forget his name. I didn't like, and then General Ardmore, Eddie Falco, literally gets sucked up into the like ion vortex.
Don't they? Isn't Giovanni Ribisi's character? Everybody on that ship does.
Giovanni Ribisi was back on the. I don't think he was on the ship.
Oh, okay, okay. I think the end battle, even though it's very similar to the end of the second movie, it is. I give Cameron credit for that. I was never like confused or lost. He has such a great
Yeah.
sense of space, and I thought it was paced pretty well. And I could not think of the end of Return of the Jedi, because I think Lucas, the way he stages, like how there's like the macro, the micro, and all the different battles going on the Death Star, on Endor, and with the Luke Vader. I know I'm jumping around references, but it reminded me of how you've got different size little battles and wars happening at the same time. And the way Cameron edited it, I felt like he was trying to capture that style of editing a little bit. And all I was thinking about how Jedi did it better. But I appreciated what I think Cameron was trying to do in that end battle, and it was still very good. But that was the first thing, because I think in the end of Return of the Jedi is one of the best edited final battle sequences in cinema history.
It definitely does. I mean, I really enjoyed seeing that, and like some of the shots are so cool, they go by so fast. And I noticed more detail seeing it again. I totally agree. I think Cameron's really good, like at like visual orientation and like in epic scale battles, knowing who and what is there. And I just wanted to clarify and say too, when I say pacing issues, for me, I don't mean like confused as, oh, I don't know where I am or what I'm watching. I just mean that at the beginning of the film, when they get on the flying ships with the traders, the wind traders, you have this long flowing sequence, and then they get lost in the jungle. And I was kind of like really into it at that point. Once they get picked up and everyone comes back, there's a midsection of this film. It's totally coherent, never got lost. I just found it, like you were saying, repetitive, and there was a bit of pacing story issues for me. And that's sort of the best way I can explain it. I was still entertained, but for me, really liked first act. Third act with the whole like rescuing Jake from Bridgehead, and then that final battle, I thought that was awesome. So like that third act helped it for me.
Oh, well,
But I totally agree with you. I think even though I have a more like positive variation of your opinion, your points are total. Like I'm like nodding my head. I'm not like, what? I can't believe he doesn't feel this is the greatest, because I feel the same thing. The thing is, you know what it is? When Avatar movies come out, I'm so like invested in them because I like the visuals and the world so much. I just want there to be like, I really want to get to that fourth film, and I hope it has a better story than this one, and I think it will from everything I've heard about it. And I just want it to happen
well,
because I don't want the saga to end with what we just saw, even
well,
though I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I want to share your optimism. I'm concerned. I mean, like that, I'm glad to hear that this was supposed to be one film that was split into two. I mean, probably done because they made now $6 billion instead of
Yeah.
three or whatever. That's probably the idea.
I feel
But at the same time, like whatever this fourth film was going to be, and you know what, I made a note here that yeah, show me something new. Bring me to a different world. Bring it to Earth. I don't
it
care.
will. The fourth one has an 8-year time jump in it, and apparently something catastrophic, like cataclysmic climate wise, happens.
Spider dies.
I had such a good point that you said something like 1 second ago. Oh, that's what when you say that this one feels like The Way of Water Part 2. I will say that this movie I enjoyed it, but doesn't quite stand alone by itself as the other two. Avatar, big grandiose storytelling, the whole world loves it. Avatar, Way of Water, yes, critics said it was like followed the beats of the first one. Fair enough. I thought it inverted the first one in a really cool way, but it was this huge. Now it's like the first one's the forest movie, the second one is the water movie,
Yeah.
and this film seemed more focused. Like this movie turned inward on itself, and almost the storytelling style. You damn well have better have watched the first two to follow what was going on. Not that I don't mind that, but the movie was more like episodic in the grief, the story, that all cool like story ideas. It was just the storytelling, the pacing of it for me sometimes, if that makes sense.
I have no problems with him approaching the themes of this. I mean, there's some great stuff in here. He's dealing grief and faith and parenthood and the cultural identity. All these things are themes that are brought up in this movie, and but it does have a very muddled feel to it. I don't know what he's still trying to. There's nothing complete in this whole thing. What I guess I'm also trying to say is that every time I feel like the movie's trying to reach some emotional touchstone with these themes, it goes and does something dumb. And it has a lot to do with the writing of it. I don't know, like the very end of this, and I know I already talked about the writing, but the very end of this big epic thing, we learn Spider is now truly connected with Iowa and his identities are converged. Big emotional moment. The final line of this movie, Sam, what is it?
Oh, damn.
No, it's Spider says, no shit.
That was, I understand. That was funny to me. I think that was like,
No,
like, yeah.
But it's like, we're supposed to be this big spiritual, emotional moment. He's like, no shit.
I think you have a visceral, like fixation, negative, like you have hate towards Spider. There's
I don't
hate in your
care.
heart.
It's
Yeah.
not even.
I
It's not even.
like
It's not.
Spider. I
It's
don't
not
mind
even that. It was. What am I supposed to take it as? Oh, that's kind of funny, or was it like? It feels
That's
like.
how I took it. I thought it was hilarious. I was like,
But I feel like that would not have been done in the first movie. You know, I mean,
yeah, okay.
I mean, I feel like it's. Am
It's
I
all
watching? Am
the
I watching
Spider
the?
character is like he's a bro. He's like he's like the son of a Marine. He's like kind of a bro-ish dude. That's his character. I don't know, but I know what you're
I
saying.
don't know. I feel like it was unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
So, looking
Fair
ahead, it
enough,
sounds
yeah.
like you know a little bit more about where you think this is going.
I read about it like obsessively, but I will say, I you know what it is? I like big, long, like memorable action sequences. There's a Tulkun hunt in the second one that I love. The final battle in that. This movie in its midsection had a lot of like repetitive skirmishes where they fight and then they're captured and they split up and they fight and they're captured and I felt like I was spinning wheels a little bit in the middle of this movie, and like
Mm-hmm.
you said that I'm saying the same thing over a million times, but that's where it felt like, when I mean pacing, I mean that a whole bunch of bits happen in the middle, but it felt fractured, and I wanted that more. Let's go to the volcano and meet the Ash people and have an hour in this new clan and immerse ourselves in a fire world. And instead, she just like flies in she just comes into the plot. Hey, I'm going to raid this ship, and it's just Even though that was one of the best action scenes in the thing. Also, a shout out to David Thewlis, who was in the movie for a second.
Yeah.
You can't get on my boat. Okay, you can get on my boat. Hey, I'm here. See you later.
Am I being way too hard in this movie when I say that if they're trying to travel in obscurity, why would they take the most audacious ride there is on the planet to travel? I mean, like aren't
I
there
did
more? It's like they don't want to be found, and they're taking these giant like balloons like that are like, it's like a party in the sky.
Yeah,
Like I think you're gonna be noticed.
Like that there was a thing where it's like they're like, we have to hide, and then they're like, we got to send Spider away. They're like, all right, let's go with them, family road trip, and it's like, all right.
I'm thinking vacation, like cue like the Griswold music. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a little bit like, even though those wind traders go back and forth all the time, but they're hiding on their ship, but they aren't. They're like dancing up on the top when the bad guy has that scene. He's, I gave this guy a keg of beer to find out this information, and he just shows a picture of him. Like, well, that was a dumb move on their part, That's what I mean. There's like random occurrences in this movie where it's just like some setups like that. The midsection has a lot of those that like, I'm just like, I'll give a shout out the guy who lost his arm in the second movie, and I forget the actor's name, the Tulkun hunting guy.
Yeah.
I love that bad guy, and I did enjoy his death when he got eaten and he was like pulled down underwater. That was cool.
I did not see this movie in 3D. I did not go to the IMAX. I just saw this in standard.
God,
I didn't. But I'm guessing though, if you did see it, I noticed that they probably made it very obvious that he had a prosthetic arm because I felt like they kept putting that right in front of the lens the whole movie. He favored that the whole
It's
time.
like I can understand if you don't want to go through the movie again, but if you ever decide to go, like the 3D is so awesome because it goes back. It's like looking out a window. Like I watch it in IMAX 3D, and that is literally like the reason why the movie is like the visuals. The 3D is spectacular.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I would have trouble going to the theater and not watching that
This
format.
might be why I have
would
no nitpicks with this movie, Sam, because I didn't watch it in the spectacular IMAX 3D.
It's true.
Because
You can see
I'm watching this for the story. What the hell, huh?
No. I mean, of course, the story, but I'm saying like the whole visual, like the movie is designed for IMAX 3D.
I know.
So as a filmmaker, I would think you would want to go to what it was designed for. And if you defy that, it just makes you look kind of stupid.
I had a free ticket, you know.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
You know, so I mean,
not really, but yeah, you're right.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with our final thought and our ranking, our review and decision.
Sounds good.
Now, what's the matter?
I'll never dance again. I'm a cripple.
Pure hysteria. You've made yourself believe that.
It isn't true.
It is, otherwise you'd fight.
What is there to fight for?
Ah, you see. You admit it. What is there to fight for? Everything. Life itself, isn't that enough? To be lived, suffered, enjoyed. What is there to fight for? Life is a beautiful, magnificent thing. Even to a jellyfish. What is there to fight for? Besides, you have your art, your dancing.
Can't dance without legs.
I know a man without arms who can play a scherzo on a violin and does it all with his toes. The trouble is you won't fight. You've given in, continually dwelling on sickness and death. But there's something just as inevitable as death, and that's life. Life.
The dialogue in Fire and Ash is way better. The dialogue in Fire and Ash is way better, Lois. No.
Yes. All right, Sam. Let's get to our ratings and our decision on this. Any last minute thoughts? Have we said it all?
Sigourney Weaver was good, as always.
Yeah. Do you think do you think even though they were in mocap, she really kissed that spider kid?
I don't
She's
know. I think
76 and he's 17, 18 at the time. I'm curious about that.
I think it's possible, yeah. And I would be lying if I said that didn't cross my mind when I watched that scene. I think the audience felt the same.
Okay. Give me 1 to 5 stars.
You're the man, Piacon. I would say for this movie, I would give it, let me see. You know, I was going to give it 3, but because of some spectacular visual moments and I love the franchise, I'll give it 3.5. I'll be a little generous.
You going to save this or are you going to purge it?
I feel like I have to save it out of a sense of identity. Who would I be if after all this time I like turned my back on Avatar? So I guess I have to say it. I just have to say that I want to say it. Yeah.
All right. Well, at the end of the day, I think I'm giving this 2.5 out of 5 for me. And right in the middle, I'm not down. I think there's so much that just drives me up a wall in this movie, but the visuals still, I think, are incredible. Again, I only saw it in standard, but Pandora remains a miracle of world building. But narratively, I think this film is really stumbling and it's just repeating old beats and delays story development, character development, and sidelines the most interesting characters. And that, I think, is a crime. And overinvest in the wrong ones. So, and undercuts itself with tone-deaf dialogue. So, yeah. It's not, and I think that it lessens the value of the previous movie, even though I did like it, Way of Water, but So, no, Sam, will not save this. No. Now, this does not happen very often because there's only 2 of us here, you know, but I guess it's not a majority. So we have to, What do we do? Do we not make a decision on this, or how do we? In the past,
Here's what we do: we take all our recording equipment, we go to the beach, we stand there, and we like whistle at the ocean and get those whales to come out of the water, and we have this big like council tribunal where all the Tulkun decide and pass a vote.
last time, okay, that's a good
Just
idea.
table it for now.
Last time we had a split like this, we tabled it until we were able to get a majority. So
By the laws of regularness, let's do that again.
okay, so
Yeah.
we'll table whether we save this or purge it until
Get Mark Krawcheck back here. And we'll
see. We can't stack the deck though with anyone, so we'll have to see. All right, so we'll do that for now, and we will move on to our next segment tonight, our recommendation shelf.
Excuse me, can you help me? I'm in an absolute loss. I've been looking for over an hour and I'm losing my mind. What I'm in the mood for is sort of a Katharine Hepburn-y, Cary Grant-y kind of thing. Nothing heavy. I couldn't take heavy. No, something zany. I'm looking for something zany. Or something modern would be fine too, like a Goldie Hawn, Chevy Chasey kind of thing. You know, funny. I want to laugh. I have to laugh tonight, really. Oh, do you have anything with that comedian? He's on that show. It's on the radio. You know the guy, he says, hey, forgive me. I get such a kick out of the way he says that. He's so goddamn adorable. That would be perfect. Didn't he make a movie? Ordinary Peepholes.
Here we are with our recommendation shelf this week, and this time we have a category for recommendation shelf. Humans are the real enemy. Thought of this at the last minute the other night, so I'm telling you, I'm getting desperate with these, Sam. You know, chime in anytime. Anybody out there listening, all right? You know. Do you want me to go first if you're still thinking of something, or how do you want? What do you think?
You go. Yeah, you go first. Sounds good.
I'll go first. Okay, so I think that I picked this category because I thought of the movie first, and then I realized, how can I pigeonhole in this movie into tonight's episode, because I've been kind of wanting to watch this again for a while because I've been just in such a great mood. My pick tonight is, I think it's just one of the best horror movies of the century, and it's The Mist from 2007 from Frank Darabont.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love that movie.
It's a sharp, unsettling commentary on society. And in a lot of ways, you can see it laying the groundwork for the paranoia and post-apocalyptic world that Darabont would later explore in The Walking Dead, in the first season of The Walking Dead. Cast is terrific. Thomas Jane, probably the best thing Thomas Jane I think ever did. He's this father who's desperately just trying to protect his son and make sense of this impossible situation, and supporting cast of who's who of character actors. Toby Jones, William Sadler, Andre Braugher, who we lost a couple years ago, which is too bad. Marcia Gay Harden. And I think it has got a couple actors that were in Walking Dead, like Melissa McBride, and there's one other one I forget. But anyways, they reunite on that show. So if you haven't seen this, the premise is simple. It's deeply effective. There's this mist that descends on a small town in Maine, because why not in Maine? And the town people barricade themselves in the supermarket. But that's where the real story unfolds. The monsters are in the mist, but the real danger is the people that are trapped inside, and they're all turning each other. And as you know, the faith, fear, desperation, it all collide. So it really is the people inside that are the monsters. So it's just a great character study, and how people from different backgrounds and belief systems are just trying and failing to come together when survival's on the line. And this movie does not pull its punches. It's great, but you will not walk away feeling great. So consider that a warning.
You can't go out. I won't allow it.
Won't allow it?
It's against God's will. Don't you know that by now? Haven't I proven myself again and again and again? Haven't I shown that I am his vessel? What's the matter with you? Don't you believe in God?
No one's interfered with you. All we're asking for is the same privilege.
You heard him. It is these people who brought this upon us. They, people who refuse to bend to the will of God and claim it privilege. Sinners in pride. Yes, haughty, privileged. They mock us, they mock our God, our faith, our values, our very lifestyle. They mock our humility and our piousness. They piss on us and laugh. It's from them the blood of human sacrifice must come.
I won't give anything away, but is this not the film that has that shocking ending to it?
Yeah, it's got a
Where it's
pretty
like,
harsh
gee, I
ending.
could not
So
believe that when I saw that. I was like,
and it's
what?
it's like it does not go where you expect it's going to go.
Oh my God.
And I think that's all I'll say. So yeah, it is not a good time for in that regards, but it is such a well done film. Yeah. That's my pick.
That's awesome. That's a great. I actually really want to see that again because I saw that movie, I think, on TV for the first time. I didn't know what it was, and I had come in the first 2 minutes, and I just sat there and watched the whole movie.
Yeah, it's a Stephen King adaptation. It's probably one of the best 2 or 3 adaptations of his. So,
God, absolutely.
Yeah. Watch it because you just want to feel good about life.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got?
But if you really want to feel good about life, don't you want to see your close friend Spider in IMAX 3D facing you in the audience being like, bro, how's it going, bro? Look at me, bro.
Yes.
I could not help myself.
3 stories high of Spider. Yeah.
So my film where the enemy is us, I've gone a lighter hearted route, but look, you have natures, you have bees, you have ants, and you just have creatures that just want to exist. You know, they want to enjoy their life. And here comes a bunch of humans that build houses around them and suburbs and stuff like that. The humans are awful. And not only that, but one of the humans does physical scientific damage to his own children by accident by building a shrinking machine. I am, of course, referring to 1989's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, wow.
We are the enemy because, you know, we the people screw everything up. And so these kids, not knowing that humanity is truly the enemy, they're just trying to get home in a yard, trying to get back to their house and their parents. And there's barely redemption at the end, but they make it. And there's a little bit of hope, but the people and the human beings in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, 1989, are not the brightest. And I highly recommend rewatching that film if you get the chance.
I called the police. What's on your head?
I was looking for the kids.
Where, in a coal mine?
They're in the backyard.
They are?
Diane, I got something real important to tell you. That is the couch from the attic. You can see the marks where Quark chewed the arms. I found it on the floor. It's my thinking couch.
Wayne, are you trying to tell me you did it? It works? The machine works? Do the kids know?
Well, yeah, the kids know.
That's great!
No, it's not that great.
Why?
I shrunk the kids.
What?
I did watch it with my kids a couple of years ago, and we had a great time because I grew up with that. And
I love that movie. Yeah.
I introduced it to them. So that was a lot of fun. Rick Moranis and making a big comeback in a year, reprising his role in Spaceballs 2. He hasn't acted in 20 years.
I can't wait to see that. I hope that movie, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Dark Helmet. He's coming back.
Did your kids like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
They did. I think, and then we watched which one is the sequel? Is it
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid?
Yes. Not as good, but still.
Not as good. We should review that one.
The whole franchise. Let me pull up the franchise here. We got Honey.
That would be much more lucrative if we reviewed the Land Before Time franchise because there's like 16 of them, and Littlefoot never grows up.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. Honey, I Shrunk the Audience.
Ourselves.
Wait, that's a theme park movie.
That's
Honey,
a theme park ride. The third one was Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. It was a
Honey, I Shrunk
1997 direct-to-television Disney production.
Do you know that it's the same director for all of these? Wayne Selinsky? Has this guy done anything else, or is this his claim to fame? I feel bad if this is like...
Wayne Selinsky is Rick Moranis' character name.
That's the director. Oh, that's the role. Who's the director?
The
sorry, I'm thinking I looked at the wrong thing.
There's different directors for each who directed Honey, I
thank
Shrunk.
God. I was worried that like one director, that's all he did is like these movies. It's like I made all the Honey I Shrunk movies, and that's all I did. No,
Joe Johnston.
Joe Johnston. Yeah, he's a legit guy. He makes movies. He did The Rocketeer, The Page Master, Jumanji, Jurassic Park 3, underrated Jurassic Park movie. He did Hidalgo. We were kind of talking about Hidalgo, I think, or something.
We were. Randall Kleiser directed Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Okay. Sorry, Randall. Okay. We went off topic. Okay. Good pick.
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid has some good scenes at Glitter Gulch, which is in Vegas at the end of that movie when the kid is so big. But anyway, yeah, just remembering the film.
Is Honey, I Blew Up the Kid streaming anywhere, or is it just on VOD? Do you know?
I think you can just rent it, or like I'm not sure where it's streaming, but I watched it like this past September.
Okay. I was checking, and The Mist is streaming for free on the Roku channel, Plex, and you can rent it on VOD. So there you have it. Couple movies to check out that we recommend. All right, Sam, I think that does it for this week. We are lean and mean this week at an hour mark. I think we're pretty efficient. All right.
I'll say what I got to quote Nateum. It's good to see you, bro. But how did I die?
Next week, we are going to do our 2025 top 10 episode wrap up, maybe a few honorable mentions, maybe a few other things about what we liked about last year in movies, but look for that. Can't wait for that episode. Always a fun one. And beyond that, I don't know what the future is for the show. We'll see. Get these episodes done, and we'll see where we're at with things. But this has been fun, kind of bringing this show back in a small capacity this fall, Sam. It's been fun.
It's been fun. There may be more as we are investing in a new casino, which will directly fund this podcast. So expect some incredible things to happen in 2026.
Hey, it's not about the money. It's about the time more than anything for me. But
or as the guy in Avatar 3 said, let's make some bang.
Right. So that is our show for this week. Back to the Frame Rate is part of the Weston Media Podcast Network. Special thanks to Brian Ellsworth for our show opening. On behalf of all of us, we bid you farewell from the Fallout Shelter. If you're enjoying the show, please subscribe and leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. You'll always find our episodes at backtotheframerate.com. This is the end of our transmission. Back to the Frame Rate, signing off.
I want you to know it's over.